Suppose we talk it over in the evening, in the tavern, over a cup of good wine. Maybe we'll come up with something.
All right. Thank you, Father.
And look, here we are.
Here we are.
Pour me an ale.
Got it for you right here.
I'm sorry I can't tell you everything, but maybe we can work something out. But first, I'd like to hear something about you, my son. With whom do I have the honor? Where are you from?
Good neighbors.
I'm from Skalitz.
Oh, I'm sorry. What about your kin?
They're dead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Here, we'll drink to them. It must have been terrible.
It was terrible. It seemed so pointless. We had no warning. They just appeared and began the slaughter. God knows why. They killed anyone who didn't make it to the shelter of the castle. My parents, my girl, even the Deutsch who was on Sigismund's side. I didn't make it to the castle. I wanted to try and help my parents, but there was nothing I could do. And I fled to Talmberg with the Cumans on my heels. They almost killed me. They slaughtered people in the surrounding villages. There was a pile of bodies in front of the church in Rovna. Folk who tried to take refuge there, but they...
My poor child. May God grant them eternal rest. And how did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected Sir Hanish to send that old grouch, Bernard.
He did, but I found a witness and the trail led here to Uzis, so he sent me here to follow it up.
Ah, well, congratulations. It's nice to see someone using their head to find things out instead of torture. We'll have to drink to that. Now the most important thing. What actually happened in Noyo? The good folks hereabout are saying all kinds of terrible things, but I take most of it with a pinch of salt.
The rumors aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately. The Neuhof stud farm was raided by bandits, but they didn't come to pillage or even take the horses. They only wanted to kill.
Here we are.
They maimed the horses and slaughtered some people. I'm sure they would have killed more, but the bandits quarreled among themselves and broke off the attack.
Here.
And judging by what's left of our Lubosh, they're still settling accounts.
I see it's every bit as bad as people claimed.
Got it for you
Dreadful. Well then, here's to those poor souls who had to die so pointlessly and so terribly.
I've told you all about me.
Cheers.
Now it's your turn, Father. You don't look much like our parish priest at home. I noticed you're pretty handy with a sword. I wouldn't expect that of a man of the cloth.
You know what they say. The Lord moves in mysterious ways.
But this is a bit more mysterious than others.
Let's just say I haven't always been a priest. Fate led me to places where affairs were settled by force. These days, of course, it's just a bit of exercise to keep me in shape.
I notice there's a woman living with you at the presbytery.
What of it? Have you never met a cleric who lives with a woman before? Mother Church won't let me take her to wife. Too afraid it might lose its property to any heirs she bore me. But she cooks and cleans, and, well, as a man I have my needs.
I'm not sure the parish priest at St. James would agree with you.
I heard he was a bit odd.
Well, we've had an agreeable chat, but now let's get down to business. So, about this confessional seal. Do you really want more innocent people to die?
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters in which you can't make exceptions because if you do it once, you'll forever be tempted to do it again. If people stop believing in the church because their confessional secrets are betrayed, they won't trust anyone, and that's worse than even the most hideous crime.
I understand, but that means I've reached a dead end. Those cutthroats will strike again, and I can't stop them.
Chin up, lad. I might have a solution.
What?
If I tell you what Lubosh told me,
And good health.
I'd be betraying the confessional secret. But, first thing tomorrow, I'll try something I think might help
My
me.
pleasure.
Word of honor?
On my soul.
I always wondered about the things a priest tells his congregation. Where on earth do you get the ideas for your sermons?
Well, Ujits is in Prague. It's not enough to instruct people. They have to be entertained, too. If I only read from the Bible, I'd soon be preaching to an empty church.
Our priest wasn't exactly a bard. So what do you preach to your flock about?
It has to be something topical, condemning vices, and of course describing them in detail. A tongue lashing about the two popes goes down well these days, and stories from real life with a nice moral to them are popular as well, especially if they're about fornication and similar scandalous vices.
Can you give me an example?
Well, recently a priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague in the Czech language, and the people liked it. I hear he always has a full house. A journeyman who heard him told me what Hus is preaching, and I like the sound of it. I'm thinking about putting it in my own repertoire.
What's so amazing about it?
The preaching of Master Jan Hus about Mother Church. The lamentable wealth in which the church is drowning has turned to poison, and nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated. Just like a flock of hungry ravens, they settled on this land to devour every grain of gold and silver. They know no mercy. Their hearts are corrupted by longing for wealth, and they shamelessly profit from everything. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay and you will have absolution. What if the devil himself were to pay? Would he ascend to heaven too? With such money gained from the poor, they buy beautiful horses to ride and needless servants to pamper them. They gamble at dice and dress their whores in expensive furs, while Jesus Christ walked barefoot and had no place to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too. Amen.
Well, this Jan Hus character is quite a rebel.
Oh, the congregation will love it.
I don't doubt it.
Let's drink to that.
Funny. That last bit reminds me of someone.
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. Huth preaches against the prelates and the clerics who are robbing the poor. Look at me. I don't have a pot to piss in. I'm no better off than the folk I preach to. I'm one with them in poverty and suffering and everything that troubles them. I drink with them and curse those stuffed habits in Sasau Monastery.
Don't you think it's a bit odd when someone boozes and lives in sin with a woman and then criticises the Pope for debauchery?
No, I don't.
What do you think of this Jan Hus?
He's certainly a wise man. A little overzealous for my taste. If he got out of Prague and came here for a look, I'm sure he'd stop condemning drinking and lying with women.
Where can I find out more about his teachings?
You like it?
Here.
I copied down some of his sermons. If you're interested, you can read them at my presbytery.
All the best.
What do the common folk think of it?
They like it. They're happy to hear someone say what they think themselves, but are afraid to say aloud. Things that make them angry. And they're calling for change. In a few years, it'll have grown beyond control. You mark my words, the people will rise up and the church will be shaken to its very foundations.
Yeah, unless they burn him at the stake first.
Nonsense. They can't burn a master of the most respected university in Europe.
Thanks for the sermon, but I think I've been morally uplifted enough. Oh, it's getting quite late. What are your plans, Father?
What do you suppose? We have a drink, of course.
Ah, that sounds like a good plan.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Przyszła bida mora lat, to nie ustoi żadnej chlap. Na kraj padł dziesięć smutek, do dnielo i rano utek, niech już małżeński majstrat, do wczera żył Mesaje prak. Už sej moji svatý muži, nechtěl bych bejt jejich muži. Nám je to jedno a tak si dáme jedno a požerem si huby jako poslední den. Buďte s vámi a dorána slávy a tak vypal sudy a posaď se mi sem. Tak posaď se sem a vypal je ven. Ukaž kozy jako vozy, zítra jen tu soudnej den, tak nalej mi hned, ať točí se svět. Ty dneska vůbec nikdo neví, zase zítra Ježíš živí a není to naposled.
Enough of this!
Bailiff, come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone.
So what?
So, I'll have you all whipped and put in the stocks, and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can ride is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out.
Oh. You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
There's nothing left to drink, might as well. What if you want some? I'm not fighting Dumber and Dumber here.
Jesus Christ.
Got him. Take two, bitch. Ow. Wait.
So, my dear,
I'm so.
would you like to have a little ring on the bell? Well, sooner said than done.
I'd love to. And Henry, too, I'm sure. Right, Henry?
Stop that nonsense, Godwin. Are you out of your mind? What will people say?
They can say what they like. What do I care? What do they do to me? Watch the step, my dears. Careful, you don't hurt yourself.
Godwin, you're a buffoon.
Wow, what if she being such a Debbie Downer?
What the...
Here we are. Look at this beauty.
Oh. We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
This is wonderful.
Ah, bloody oath. And now, my dears, comes the climax of the evening.
Godwin, you old goat.
Come here. Oh.
Oh, hi there, friends. How are you doing today? What are you watching? Oh, that's something you guys shouldn't be watching. Especially not on YouTube. No wonder that scene got cut just now. Well, we can't be showing people having relations on YouTube. That wouldn't be very good. Oh, it looks like it's over. I'm gonna put you guys back to the rest of the video. Enjoy. Just chasing sheep. Oh, I'm so hammered. I'm so hammered.
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
Godwin, you beast! Get up! Do you hear me? Wake up, you drunkards!
Oh, fucking hell.
Where the... Oh, what the... Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry. My great friend, Henry. Didn't we have a wonderful time?
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick. You haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Oh, step on in my head. My guts. Oh, my poor suffering stomach. Oh, what was that woman on about? Before my flock eats me alive. I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten?
Where the fuck am I?
What the fuck was it? Oh. Mass! Oh shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass. You have to help me.
How? You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster. They're gonna excommunicate me.
I'd like to help you, but...
You can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the stake?
No. No, I've got it. Suppose that Sir Radzig's protege. You just came from studying in Prague. And you want to share the words of Master Jan Hus, who you recently heard preaching there. Henry, look, from what I remember, we might have overdone it a bit last night. And if the bailiff or someone else complains about me, the bishop's gonna have my guts for garters. So I'd appreciate it. Stop gaping at me like a stuffed squirrel and start helping.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad.
I'm not. It's a perfect plan. It's flawless. Oh. How about this? If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosh's cronies are.
So all at once the confessional seal isn't so sacred?
Don't mock me. I won't give you a second chance.
We'll never get away with it.
Not if you make a hash of it.
Well, all right. But I can't make any promises about what'll happen.
No, neither can I.
What do you want me to do exactly?
I'll go and start the liturgy. Then I'll introduce you. You give the sermon I told you yesterday in the tavern, and that's that. No need to drag it out. If it turns out well, I'll tell you what I know about Lubosh.
Christ almighty. Fine then. We have a deal.
Wonderful. Let's get to it then.
Gonna make myself look presentable first.
Come on, Henry. Don't tell me you changed your mind.
I thought he'd never show up. The swill dog.
Look at him. He can hardly walk after his capers last night.
You were with them, you beast. Just you wait.
Look at him. Mother of God, Any minute now, he'll throw up.
I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clamor.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas at venerabiles a manus suas.
Bros.
Hac facite in meam commemorationem. Brothers and sisters, you may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz, who is here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where, by the grace of God, was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So, Henry, you may begin.
Now I'm curious which one of them will puke first.
Confident.
Brothers and sisters, let me get straight to the point. I'd like to talk about the church and how corrupt it is.
That boy has a cheek.
One should not believe in the church, because the church is not God. God is above all things, and the church is but a means to salvation, which the prelates do not care to hear.
He's right.
It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, Cumans, hunger, and chaos. The accursed wealth that the church is drowning in is poisoning almost the whole of Christendom. When dogs are fighting over a bone, take the bone and they will stop. Just like the flock of ravens that has descended on this land to peck up every speck of gold and silver. They show no mercy. Their hearts are poisoned by covetousness. They trade everything. Everything is for sale. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay, and you will have absolution. And the prelates sin and give themselves absolution.
For shame! Shame upon them!
It is the custom of the gluttonous prelates and monks to preach against sin. But what do they know of us ordinary folk? Let us remember the marriage at Cana, where our Lord Jesus Christ himself feasted with the other guests and drank his fill. And when the wine was gone, he performed a miracle and created more. He, whose companions were poor travellers, simple folk, prostitutes and troublemakers, performed a miracle so the feast could continue.
Now that's the kind of sermon I like to hear.
No, brothers and sisters. Jesus did not condemn alcohol. Drink to lighten the cross you bear in this vale of tears, but not with such abandon that you cannot keep holy the Sabbath. For there should be moderation in all things, and it is not drinking itself that is sinful, but intemperance and beastly indulgence.
He's right!
Yeah!
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you only pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They play dice and garb their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates. Away with them.
We're fortunate to have our good father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
Who the fuck said that?
God sees what is happening on earth, and he is filled with righteous wrath that those who should seek the salvation of souls instead seek mammon and the idle comfort of lucrative posts. Blessed are the shepherds who share the poverty of their flock, who are as one with you and bear with you the burden of this earthly pilgrimage, who do not condemn your venial sins.
Aye, all honor to Godwin. Let him drink like one of us.
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, that was.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a
I'm
silver
glad he
tongue.
came here. I don't suppose I'll ever get to Prague, and he told it nicely.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. I wasn't the only one.
Oh, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin.
So gluttony and fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubos tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now, slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you...
Well, now Lubos came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out? Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubos kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubos killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko, Pius, Timmy.
Pius. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledechko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
Yeah, I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.
Alright guys, so over in Ledechko, we're gonna travel around town looking for this freaky character. First place I'm gonna hit up over here is the tavern. Usually taverns are full of bustling areas. Lots of information to get. And everybody usually has loosened lips because alcohol. Bark of the tavern keeper first. You can tell it's the tavern keeper because of the hat.
Good day to you.
Guess he doesn't know anything.
Good afternoon.
I'm looking for someone they call Riki.
That's the tanner's son, Hynek.
Where can I find him?
Hard to say. He's not around here much. Thank God for small blessings. Could try his folks' place.
Oh, cool.
What can you tell me about this Hinek?
What can I tell you? Nope, he's none too popular. No one cares to talk to him.
Why not?
Well, I'm not one to gossip, but I heard he keeps bad company.
What's the tanner like, Hinek's father?
The less I see of him, the better. He's not exactly sparkling company.
Why do they call him Riki anyway?
Why do you think? Because he's a tanner, of course.
Oh, so he reeks. Yeah, I know. Smells bad.
So why don't people like him?
The old tanner's not an easy man. But a son should never let his father down. Hinek does nothing to help. He's always far too busy with his own affairs, though I wouldn't like to say what those are.
It sounds like me.
And does no one at all talk to him?
That harlot Adela hangs around with him, of course.
Harlot?
She works as a bathhouse wench. Same thing.
What's wrong with working at a bathhouse? Sounds like a spa, right? I'm joking. Although those are nice ladies, dude. They do your laundry, they'll heal you. Give you a happy ending. See if you can find that harlot, because... Yeah, because I need the bathhouse over here because I passed it on the way over here. It's her. No, it's the madam.
Jesus! Good afternoon.
I heard you've been seeing Hinek, the tanner's son.
So what? Come to preach at me, have you? That I'm a loose woman, a sinner, that I seduce decent men?
Well, are you?
God, no, nothing like that. It's just that you're the only one in the village who sees Hinek, so I came to ask you about him.
Aye, I've seen him often enough. I don't know what I could tell you about him.
Where can I find Hinek?
I haven't seen him in the village for a few days. He must have run off to the woods again.
Does he do that often?
From time to time.
What the hell does he get up to there?
I don't know.
Why do you look like you know what he does?
Look, Hinek's my friend, and I really need to know where he is and what he's doing.
But I already told you I don't know where he's got to.
So I suppose he just goes to the woods to pick mushrooms, does he?
Mushrooms? No. More like hares or other game.
So Hinek is a poacher? That's no surprise.
Well, he was never much of one for an honest trade.
Do you know exactly where he goes? Maybe he has some favourite spot he might have told you about?
He said he has some hideout in the woods, but he didn't tell me where.
When did you last see him?
A few days ago. He came to me late in the evening, drunk.
And that was unusual?
I never saw him drink much. He always came to me sober.
So he was acting strangely that evening?
He was strange. I had the feeling he was afraid of something. He kept prattling on and didn't seem to care about you know what. So I threw him out and I haven't seen him since.
Can you remember anything he said that evening?
Oh, I'm not sure. He went on about some fellow called Lubosh who died. That he was regretting he ever got into it, but he never said what it was. And that it wasn't worth it for the money. Aye, and then he was talking about the money. That was very odd.
What did he say about the money?
Just that he had a pile of it hidden behind his house.
I see. What did you say to that?
What could I say? He was drunk. He kept saying I was a fine girl and other harlots wouldn't go with him even for money. And if I wanted, I could even take half the money and leave. Or he'd go with me and we could get married and such. Oh, just poppycock.
Did he tell you exactly where he hid it?
He said he buried it at his father's small holding in the western corner.
All right, thank you. Did you go there for a look?
No, I've got better things to do. Obviously, he made it up. Where would a
Good.
layabout like
Stay
him
away.
get so
That's
much coin?
my money.
Yes, I understand.
Finders keepers.
Good luck then.
Experience has told me I gotta remain hidden though when I get it, because Dad will get all pissed off. Like, yo, what are you doing? You're stealing from me. And I'm like, no, dude, I found this. It just happened to be on your property. Bye. This is the west side. Be over by these rocks. Fuck off, horse, you're gonna give me away. Digging in a hole. Digging in a hole. There it is. That should be his father.
Good day to you.
I'm looking for your son. Any idea where he might be?
I don't know nothing.
Don't you at least know where he usually goes? It's important.
Hynek shows up at home once in a blue moon, so I don't know nothing about where he gets to. Even if I did, why would I tell every Tom, Dick, and Harry?
That's not very nice.
Do you at least know any friends he's with, or someone he goes to see?
As far as I know, nobody here in the village talks to him.
I heard he's seeing some bathhouse wench.
Maybe. He can't get it for free, so I suppose he has to go to the baths.
What about this hidden money?
What can you tell me about the coin I found hidden behind your house?
Coin? What coin? What on earth are you on about?
A pretty pile of groschen nicely stashed away for a rainy day. If I'd known tanning was so lucrative, I'd have switched trades.
I don't know nothing about it.
And I suppose you know nothing about the bloodied gambeson your son hid there too. Of course it would be a shame to throw away such a valuable thing.
Behind my house, you say?
So you really don't know anything about it? Looks like you pulled the wool over your eyes. Still, I'm not surprised he never told you about it, considering how he came by that money.
How did he come by it?
He was paid to raid the Neuhof stud farm. He and his cronies slaughtered horses, stable boys, and even the owner, Smill.
Jesus Christ, I heard about that. You're saying Hynek was with them?
Almost certainly.
He could have at least told me about the money, the little shit.
Forget about that. Tell me where he is.
All right. He was here a few days ago, but he left right away. He looked like he was in a hurry.
And you don't know where he went?
I've got an idea, but I don't know where it is exactly.
I don't follow.
Hynek makes some money on the side from poaching. He boasted to me a few times about what a great hideout he found in the woods, but he never told me where it is.
Well, it's not much to go on, but it's better than nothing. Thank you.
We'll see if I can find his hideout.
Don't you have any clue at all where his hideout could be?
I really don't know nothing about that. I could tell when he'd come from there is all.
How's that?
Because every time he brought some hides for tanning and money.
He had money because he sold the stuff right away?
I suppose. He never kept any of his loot here.
Do you know who he sold it to?
No. But the innkeeper came here now and again and gave him coin. Of course, it could have been for me.
All right. I'll ask at the inn then. I want to ask about the courier's son, Hynek.
But ask someone else. They have nothing to do with Riki. He'd only drive my customers away.
Really? I heard a different story. I heard the two of you do business together.
Who are you, anyway?
A friend of Hynek's. He's gone missing and I need to find him.
I don't know where he is. But if you find the bastard, tell him he still owes me some goods.
Your establishment's a bit run down, innkeeper. The walls could use a coat of whitewash, and the roof looks neglected too.
I suppose so. But what's that got to do with anything?
Well, just that a little extra coin might solve the problem.
Aha! Now we're getting somewhere. How much do you think it will cost to fix the place up a bit? That ought to do it. All right. What do you want to know about Riki?
I hear Hinek has a hideout in the woods he uses for hunting game. Do you know where it is?
Not exactly. That is... I don't know where it is at all.
But
I happen to know it's a dark place. A cave or an old mine shaft.
how do you know that?
Whenever Riki was going poaching, he always came to me first for candles and lamp oil. He brought the game skinned and gutted, so we had to have a light for that.
And do you know of any mine shafts nearby?
There's a few of them around. There's one on the opposite bank, a short way off the path leading from the forge to the west. Then there's a mine gallery to the east of the village, up in the woods above the cliffs. And I heard there's one shaft on the headland close to the water.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Watch you don't break your neck, though. It's rough ground, and you could easily fall down a shaft. May the Lord watch over you.
Alright, everyone. I think that's the end of this episode. I think it's been a little long enough. Hope you've been enjoying it. Please leave a comment down at the bottom what you thought of that party with the, or that evening out with the priest. What do you think's gonna happen when I find this Riki character? And do you think I'm gonna get to him in time before those other bandits find him? Hopefully I do. Again, if you're enjoying the series, please like the video. So consider subscribing to the channel. I've been a little slow on making these lately. I've been kind of training for an event I'm going to soon. Yeah, you guys have been awesome. I'll catch you guys on the next one, and we'll go find Riki. Bye, guys.